What's up, everyone? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Pathology, entitled The Time of Great Purification. This is released on Victory Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with Pathology, they're based out of San Diego, California, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a straight-up, traditional style of brutal death metal, but over the years, they've changed their lyrical concepts and themes a lot. Because if you think back to early Pathology, you would think of their first two releases, Surgically Hacked, and their second album, which I still say is my absolute favorite from this band, Incisions of Perverse Debauchery. That album just really sent chills down my spine, just how low and inhuman those guttural vocals were. Musically, it was another story. I really loved the way the music sounded on that record, just the fast blast beats, sick riffs, just a lot of great things about that record in my view. But then after that, there seemed to have been a bit of a change in the music and the lyrics. It started with Age of Onset when they added Maddie Way, whom you know from Disgorge, to do the vocals for the band. It still had a lot of brutalness to it, but the lyrics seemed to verge towards more of a futuristic sci-fi kind of mentality. I thought that was pretty cool. And the album that really launched them into notoriety in my eyes was their debut with Victory, Legacy of the Ancients. That was, in my view, the band at their best peak sound. They have never sounded so good, and that album really brought out the best in their musical aspects. Vocally, lyrically, and musically. I absolutely love that. Then we get to the album that they released last year, Awaken to the Suffering. They added a new guitar player and a new vocalist. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about that, but to me, I felt that this new vocalist belonged in this style of music, whereas the kind of style he used to be involved with, I thought his vocals really didn't fit that kind of genre, that kind of deathcore kind of genre. I felt that they were more suitable for brutal death metal. And to me, I feel their last album worked very well. This has been a band that has been always consistent, regardless of whether they have band member changes or all different kinds of stories. This is a band that just continually pushes out music and keeps things consistent. And lo and behold, we have their sixth full length, The Time of Great Purification. It's 13 tracks, and it runs around 30 plus minutes in length. That's the typical kind of album length you would expect for a Pathology record, for it to be really short. And this time around, the one thing that I'm noticing, I don't know if it's just me, but I think this album is a lot faster paced. This album has such a fast, infectious pace to it. It's very quick. Most songs range from around 2 minutes to 1.5 minutes to really the longest song on here, A Bleak Future, which is about 3 minutes in length. That's really the long song on here. But with each song that's on this record, it has a story, it has a point, and it gets across to it with such ease. Every song flies by nicely. It would have been nice for some songs to have been longer, but still, this is the kind of point that they want to get across. And I think with The Time of Great Purification, they keep up those good quality standards and make a really good listenable record. Musically, it keeps up the same path that the last album set out to do. Guitar-wise, a lot of the riffs are very memorable and catchy, and it brings forth the one thing that I've always thought Pathology albums lacked, and that was guitar solos. It was evidented on Awaken to the Suffering, and this time on The Time of Great Purification, the solos sound a lot more smoother, a lot more crisp. Just a lot of good, solid technicality to it. Not technicality to where it's showing off or being, look at what I can do. It really is helpful to the music that's being played. It adds a nice break in between the kind of fast and slow parts that this record has. I really enjoy the evolvement that the guitar work that this band has gone through. I don't know how you feel about it, but still, I think this is great guitar work going on here. Bass-wise, it's a good solid bass tone. It blends in smoothly with the guitar on this record. Not too audible to where it's overpowering, but still, I think it's a solid bass tone. I mean, Oscar is a really solid bassist. Seeing him play live really is good, and hearing him on record sounds great too. I really dig what Oscar's doing with the bass. Drum-wise, Dave is a machine. He really is the heart and soul of this band. He used to play in The Locust and Cattle Decapitation, and honestly, the way his drums sound here are just fantastic. It's your typical kind of Pathology drumming style, very Latin and fast blast beats and drum fills, nice blast beats, just the way you would expect Dave to play the drums. They sound good and great here. He really is the heart and soul of this band, and he brings out the best in this album to me. Really good drum performance by Dave. Really awesome. And vocals, this is where I know people will have hit and miss feelings about the vocals, because honestly, Levi is personally my favorite vocalist that this band has ever had, just because of how deep and inhumanly guttural his vocals were. Matty Way, a legend in my eyes and in his own right. He had great gutturals. Jonathan brings something different. It's extremely guttural, very undecipherable. You really can't understand a word he says. But on the Time of Great Purification, he does seem to enunciate things a little bit better. You still really can't understand a word the guy says, but honestly, there's a lot more enunciation in his delivery. Just the way he lets out those guttural kind of growls, those high-end gutturals to those really deep kind of lows, almost gurgly in a way. Kind of thinking of Angel from Cephalotropsy and Condemned just a little bit, the way he used to sound on the first Cephalotropsy album. That's what it kind of reminds me of with this record. Not saying he's better than Angel or anything like that. I'm just saying that's how I feel when I listen to Jonathan's vocals. And I think he's a good vocalist. I really enjoy that, and I know he is the kind of guy who would be critical of his own vocal style, but he really is a good vocalist. He continues to get better with every single time, and I think I like his vocals a lot more here than I did on the last record. So overall, this is another good, solid record from Pathology. This is a band that really continues to build along a smooth pace with each record that they put out. I think I like this album a lot more than Awaken to the Suffering, but honestly, this is the kind of direction that Pathology want to go in. They're kind of sci-fi, political, spacey kind of themes within their lyrics. I think it's really cool, and only Pathology can totally get away with that. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would have to say Imprisoned by Fear, Corporate Harvest, Remnants of Freedom. That's like one of the shortest songs on here. It's almost near to 2 minutes. And Oppression by Faith. Those are some of my favorites. So again, the album is The Time of Great Purification by Pathology. This is released on Victory Records. Go check this out. And I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. Really solid album. Continually consistent brutal death metal. Check out Pathology. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, I'm Miho out.